Climate change is one of the most important issues future generations are going to face. Our sea levels are rising, our glaciers are melting. Over time, one thing has become clear. We need to change the way we're talking about climate change. This doom and gloom message just isn't working anymore. Many Americans continue to think of the impacts of climate change as a distant problem that will only affect a future generation or somebody in a far-off, distant country. It's not that we don't care about these problems, it's just that the issue is so complicated. A number of studies have tried to identify the socio-structural characteristics of climate change deniers, and findings consistently show that conservative individuals, as well as men, are more likely to deny climate change compared to others. In fact, climate scientists highlight that while the lifestyle of wealthy individuals is the primary cause of anthropogenic climate change, those in disadvantaged positions are at a higher risk of facing serious consequences. We decided to ask the students around us what they thought of climate change and what they think should be done to raise awareness. From our survey, 93% of students believe that climate change is happening, and 80% think that humans are the biggest contributors. The most common concern among students was sea level rise and drought, and there was a general support for an education campaign of some sort to raise awareness. Most of the students we surveyed knew that climate change was happening and that humans were the number one cause. According to this Pew survey, 48% of Americans thought that climate change was anthropogenic, 31% thought that it was natural, and 20% didn't think it was happening at all. The IPCC published a report showing, quote, CO2 emissions from fossil fuel combustion in industrial processes contributed about 78% of total greenhouse gas emission increase from 1970 to 2010, with a similar percentage contribution from the period of 2000 to 2010 with high confidence, end quote. The general public lacks scientific training and relies on mainstream sources of information such as the news and the internet to come upon new data. This means that some might struggle to interpret that new data and judge whether it's credible or not. This can lead to some being easily misled by unfairly represented data, but there's another factor at play. When people are told the catastrophe is coming and that it's their fault, it's not an attractive option for them to accept that kind of blame. Climate change is a potent issue, and it's important that we stress its severity, but if we're too harsh with our message, people will shut themselves off from it, no matter how convincing our data. Surveys show that few Americans talk about climate change. A group at University of Washington is developing an app to help facilitate conversation. More talk is great, but it's better to get people involved. For example, researchers tried bringing social competition into the mix. First, they hung posters around a dorm building to publicly showcase how students were really doing. Red dots for energy wasters, green for those doing a good job, and a shiny gold for those going above and beyond. This social approach led to a 20% reduction in energy use. Psychological studies support this. We are social creatures, and as individualistic as we can be, we like to know how we measure up, and we like to be the best. Not enough Americans believe that climate change is happening, but science has an abundance of evidence telling us that it is, and that we're the cause. This conflict between public opinion and fact is preventing a united effort to combat climate change.